Now, one of the early steps that I know folks in your line of work will do with charter school clients to get them that insurance is they have to fill out application paperwork. The underwriters need to know what they're insuring, what the risks are, how much revenue is coming in, how many employees does that organization have to properly underwrite a policy. And I know for a lot of boards, that can be a very difficult experience. Sometimes those applications are very hard to fill out. Sometimes there are questions where you're like, oh, that's kind of a judgment call. I'm not really sure how to answer that one way or another. And again, for part-time board members who are doing this as a volunteer gig, that can seem like a lot, and they might be afraid that if they answer a question slightly wrong, it could lead to denial of coverage later. I'm curious because I've never had an opportunity to ask this of somebody in your role. How do you sit down with charter schools and help them with that application experience to make sure that they write things the way they need to? And do you have any advice for those board members in how to fill out those forms to make sure they don't get themselves in trouble later?
Yeah, it is the least favorite part of our business. And as you mentioned, this is renewal season. So many schools have a July 1 renewal date. So the
Yeah, they do.
timing is
Whew.
usually right here. And as an education practice leader, it's a lot of work in a condensed period of time. So I feel you in needs of efficiency around that. Oftentimes, it should be just the first year that's the most challenging because it's unlikely for schools to really change their modus operandi over the course of the year, where a lot of the questions that are asked in an application are changing. So my hope is that your schools are finding a way to keep those applications on hand so that the follow-up is really just, where am I changing data? Maybe it's salaries or student count, et cetera, where it's what we call the exposure basis. That's really where you're spending your time. But the
Now,
applications
yeah.
are, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say the applications are imperative because that's where the underwriter gets their information about what the risk profile of the school is. And so while it's tedious, the better we can answer and make the carriers comfortable with the risk they're taking on, because ultimately that's what insurance policy is. We're transferring risk to another entity, and they want to feel comfortable about taking on that risk. And the more comfortable they are about the risk, the better your costs are going to be. So the more information you can provide them to give them comfort that you're addressing the risks they're trying to insure, the better off the end result in terms of the premium you're going to pay is going to be.